Good morning, Dr. Adlina.
Morning.
Nice to meet you. Are you Malay? Malaysian?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we start?
It's good. Yeah.
Okay. This is Professor Dr. Adlina. I will let her introduce us about bioresonance and what is related with us and with the human body. Okay. So I pass the mic to Professor Adlina.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Morning to everybody. Yeah. It is a bit rushed that I was caught here, and I'm so sorry about that. Actually, I was wondering what I should be sharing with you. So Yili was telling me to talk to you a little bit about bioresonance because I have been practicing bioresonance for about 4 or 5 years now, lah. Right? I have the machine. Yeah, I bought the small machine called Rheonex bioresonance from Postmate. And then after that, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I met Yiling, and we went, and she introduced me to QQT. All right. So what I'm going to share with you is that, let me see if I can share. Okay, I'll share with you. I'm going to share with you a PowerPoint. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you all see that? Sorry.
Not yet.
Slideshow from beginning. You can see and you can hear me, correct? Okay. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, very can hear me. Okay, fine.
Yes.
So
Yes, we can.
this was actually presented at the third MAFIM conference on vibrations and healing, and I also presented this at ISSA because you know why I was very into vibrations and healing because of my treatment of my cancer. Okay, maybe one of these days I can share with you my story, yeah, about how I use bioresonance to treat my cancer. Okay, right. Let me show you. Hold on. I have to minimize this. Right. So, going to just talk a little bit about vibrations. Okay, so about just now when I share just now, did I share with the sound or not? Share sound.
Yes, we can hear you, Professor.
Because if I don't share with sound, then I can't play the video. Right. Okay. Right. So, turn up the volume. It's asking me to turn up the volume. Okay. So, so we know about vibrations. Okay, they're actually oscillations, right? Waves. Okay. So with that, go to the next slide. And it's, of course, this is the time that okay. So we start off with just what we are made of. And I think because most of you came to Muffin Conference, I think you already know that we're made of atoms. And the atoms contains electrons, it contains protons, it contains a nucleus and a neutron. So since we are made out of atoms, definitely we have a frequency that we are working in. Okay, and that if that frequency is being how to say it, there's two ways other frequencies can so influence us. Okay, one of the ways that it can influence us is it can be bad for us, but the other way it can influence us is it can be good for us. So we can use waves to actually how do you say oscillate the body back to balance level. Okay, because the body will go negative or positive depending on the situation they are in. Okay. So our natural frequency is around average 7.5 hertz. Look at the unit there, Hz, hertz. It's not megahertz, it's not okay, it's not okay, it's not gigahertz, okay, it's only hertz, okay. So it's actually it's just watts, okay, like that. Okay, so therefore 3 to 17 hertz, okay. So the sensitive range is between 6 to 8. Okay, it is a very highly sensitive system. So we are affected by everything around us that's also vibrating or oscillating. Okay, so in our case, now we are sitting in front of the computer. Okay, that this is what's happening to us. We're being bombarded by electromagnetic field radiation. I don't know about Indonesia. You already have 5G? Has
Yeah.
Indonesia
Yes, we
gone into
have.
5?
We
Yes.
have here. Not
Yeah,
yet.
so 5G. That's even worse. Okay. So the thing is that over here, when they change us into 5G, I could feel it immediately. Okay, because I am hypersensitive. All right. So because and right now, if I go into any places where there's high 5G, I come up with rashes. Okay. Even now also it's coming out again. Okay. That's why I have got my protection, all my protection devices here. And then I'm going to say, Yiling, after this, please QQT me. Okay. It's always that. I require ever so often say, Yiling, I need to QQT. I say, okay, what happened? I say, I was exposed to 5G for 8 hours last night or yesterday. Because my workplace, the 5G is so strong. The minute you go in, it's like going into a radioactive area, Okay, it's terrible. Okay, so therefore, okay, this is oscillating, and you see that 20 kilohertz. 300 gigahertz. And here you are at only 7 to 13 hertz. So if you tell me that doesn't affect you, then something must be wrong, isn't it? Right? So it just makes sense that those gigahertz, megahertz, whatever is definitely going to make you sort of pulse to the wrong beat. Okay? So I hope you can hear this video. Can you hear the sound? Can you hear?
All living organisms are sensitive to solar and man-made radio frequency radiation, RFR, and electromagnetic fields, EMFs. Humans need solar radiation to make vitamin D and plants for photosynthesis. Like allergies, human sensitivity to man-made radiation is on a spectrum. Atmospheric electricity and solar flares can also impact health through non-thermal mechanisms well below heating limits. Studies prove this sensitivity beyond all reasonable doubt. Physical sensitivity is different from fear of RFR or EMFs or a nocebo response. People can be sensitized with or without previous conditioning. Heating is a secondary short-term effect of radiation, whereas sensitivity is non-thermal and often builds up over time. Non-thermal EMFs can be both bad and good. Like ionizing radiation, non-ionizing and non-thermal RFR and EMFs can cause DNA damage, leading to cancer. To protect those sensitive to RFR and EMFs, governments should base guidelines on non-thermal effects, such as cancer and sensitivity. Medical advice is to reduce exposure to man-made RFR and EMFs to protect against biological harm. People sensitive to RFR and EMFs need low levels to prevent non-thermal effects. Current high levels prevent only heating. Nobody should be denied public access because they're sensitive to RFR and EMFs. Reducing man-made RFR reduces harmful health effects for everyone.
Okay, right. So these are the detrimental effects of wireless communication radiation in relation to COVID-19, which I know by now, every single one of us has had it. It's only whether or not we tested positive is one thing. The second thing, whether or not we had any symptoms. I found out I had COVID-19, but not through the normal channel of having symptoms and signs. Okay, I found out when I had the COVID because when I went for my viral resonance scan, it was picked up on the scan. Oh, doctor, you have COVID-19 in your body, but it's not causing problems to you because your T cells are fighting it. Okay, so therefore, just say that because COVID-19 was so contagious that all of us have it. Okay, on top of that, all of us also took the vaccine, which means that whether you like it or not, you have the spike protein inside. Okay, now that combined with the wireless communication radiation caused us all of this to happen. Okay, so you got hypercoagulation, you got aggravated hypoxia, immunosuppression. You know or not, the hypoxia, actually, I thought that it was lying and all that, but I kept on checking my oxygen and the level was always around 92, okay, 94, never reaching 96, So therefore, somehow or other that you're a bit hypoxic, isn't it? Right? Sometimes even going down to 90. So I think it's because, what happened is that your body have adjusted. So even though you are hypoxic, you don't really feel hypoxic, all right? Because maybe it was going down slowly. So do regularly check your oxygen level. I'm sure you have the oxygen meter and just check it, all right? And when you see it's low, then do something to up it. Okay, by going into, just go to the forest in the daytime and just breathe in oxygen. That's the easiest and cheapest way instead of buying the oxygen tank and putting the mask on. Okay, right now, it can cause immunosuppression. Okay, immunosuppression, autoimmunity, and hyperinflammation. Now, I had cancer in 2022 and I have undergone a mastectomy. It came back around the end of last year, and it came back, I was in stage 4. Okay, went to the bones, went to my liver, went to my lungs, okay? And also my lymph nodes of my cervical, my mediastinal, as well as my inguinal. Okay, it was so bad in May when I did my PET scan that the doctor was really looking very concerned. Okay, so when I went to Taiwan for treatment, Dr. Lee did an immunoprofiling for me and found out that my T cells was really, really bad. Okay, the T cells was almost zero. When your T cells is almost zero, I'm sure you all doctors, you all know that you cannot fight infection, you cannot fight cancer cells from spreading. Okay, my level of 153 was 600 plus. Okay, that's well above the 30 something that it was the normal value. Okay, I'm sure the doctors know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's how bad it is that COVID plus the virus does to you. Okay, I've actually tried to blame it on myself. Okay, I said my cancer is due to my stress. I said the cancer is because I don't sleep enough. I said the cancer is because I can't blame the cancer on nutrition, because I was already not taking sugar. I was already really taking a lot of veggie even before I got my cancer. So it was not that, but I thought it was maybe mainly I did stress. I was so stressed out and all that. But somebody told me, there was another doctor who is actually immunologist and also nutritionist. He said to me that, no, doctor, it is actually the vaccine. And your exposure to electromagnetic field radiation that is too prolonged. Because during the COVID, you were teaching at least 8 to 10 hours online. Okay, so I'm sure all of you have got the same or similar exposures and the similar problems, just that your immune system is not quite strong, so you can continue as it is, but you need to do something to up it. Okay, now next, another one is that increased cellular oxidative stress. Okay, so it leads to vascular injury and organ damage, and that doesn't really help at all when you're going to get cancer anyway. Okay, now what about promoting intracellular calcium essential for viral entry, replication, release, in addition to promoting pro-inflammatory pathways. So it encourages inflammatory pathways. Now, the one thing that Dr. Lee in Taipei said to me in my immunoprofiling was that though my basophils and granulocytes were all okay, but some of those cells actually was recognizing the cancer cells as a friend and not as a foe. So it was making a barrier there so that the T cells and all that cannot attack it. And that is a very bad situation. Okay, when your own cells recognize your enemy cells as friends. Okay, so it's not good. Okay, I can tell you that. And this is what the vaccine has done. It's really sort of, imbalance. Everything has gone haywire in our system. So we need to bring it back to balance. Okay, QQT is one of the ways. Okay, we need to tell, hey, excuse me, cell, this is a foe, not a friend. Come on, you're now recognizing because you're also going in that direction. Let's bring you back. Okay, harmonize you. Say, okay, now you recognize this is a foe, fight. Okay, that's what you need to do. Okay. Now, next one is that worsening heart arrhythmias. Yes, one thing I do know about this QQT, is very good for nervous problems. So, for example, you're talking about Parkinson's, you're talking about dementia, you're talking about neurocognitive things, you're talking about when you have got arrhythmias, which is actually a nervous issue, right? It's very good. Okay, it can stabilize you very, very fast. Okay, Parkinson's, people love it. Okay, it's also good for autism. Okay, so anything cognitive, neuro is very good. Okay, right. So these are the things that happens when you thank you. So these are the things that happen when you are exposed to VCR, WCR, and also COVID, and also vaccine. increased cancer risk, endocrine changes, increased free radical production, so DNA damage, changes to reproductive system, learning and memory defects, neurological disorders. And of course, not one of the ways is to bring everything back to resonance. Okay, but you also have to combine with other things, like supplementation, nutrition, and all that, to also bring it, how to say, optimize it. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Okay, right. This is how I think the EMF caused my problem, but it's also how it caused my cancer. Okay, my cancer, my whatever, everything. It's also one of the causes of my anxiety, neurosis. That's why I constantly have to call. Yiling also said, no, doctor, whenever I come to your IMU, I see you very agitated. I see you very hyper. How not hyper? Because, the 5G is so bad there. But the minute she brings me out of that, she say, yeah, now you see, you're more relaxed. You see? So that's the thing, you see? So please believe me, that 5G is affecting you. If you're not affected now, you'll be affected later. Okay? Same thing with the vaccine. If you're not affected now, you'll be affected later. Okay? Please buy Naomi Wu's book on the Pfizer papers. It is actually a very good book, and it tells you about what actually is inside the vaccine, how the vaccine injured so many people. And it is a book that you now don't have to be worried that the authorities are going to come after you, because that book was written on the 450,000 documents that was asked to be released by Pfizer from the courts in USA. So it is covered. So now, if your government say, oh, you cannot talk about it, you say, but then this one USA court already released, USA court. Not any Tom, Dick, or Harry, or you have to go behind and get it. No. 450,000 pages were released and deciphered by 3,250 scientists, doctors, very high-profile people for free, so that the book could be sold for us for USD 29 to 30 only on Amazon. Grab the book before it goes out of stock. Okay, I'm buying mine from Singapore. I already told my son to grab 3 copies. The minute it gets launched on the 28th of November, I'm sure it's going to be a sellout. Okay, so you read there the horrors of what happened to us when we took the COVID vaccine. Okay, now, I will share with you the book as well as other things after this. Okay, now, what happens when you go at the EMF? And now, most of you who came to the muffin conference will know that you go into flight and fright mode, and it reduces your gut flora, therefore causing dysbiosis and leaky gut, and therefore depleting everything that you need from the body. You don't have enough nutrition, and therefore your immune system gets weaker, and you cannot fight the infection. Okay, and this is what happens when you are under EMF influence. Okay, let me remind you, QQT, actually what it does is that it addresses what is called frequency 4.0 and all the frequencies underneath 4.0. And what it does is that it actually brings everything back into stabilization. Okay, so one of the things it does is, whenever I go under her QQT, I will always fall asleep. And she has to wake me up 6 minutes later. And then sometimes she doesn't wake me up. And I said, why did you wake up? You're so sound asleep. Okay, it's beautiful when you're harmonized. You feel so relaxed. Okay, so the thing is that you must remember, if you're exposed to just microwatts per meter squared, okay, and I can tell you right now that all of you, if you're sitting very near to your modem, you are sitting at least 4,000 to 5,000 microwatts per meter squared. Now just look here, where is 4,000 to 5,000 microwatts? It's already going to cause what? It's going to cause neurological system and brain function problems, emotional behavior changes. Don't talk about cancer, it's already there. Okay, once you reach 10,000 over microwatts per meter squared, you get leaking, blood-brain barrier leaking, and that one all leads to all your problems, Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever. All right, right. So vibrational medicine is based on metals in universe vibrates at specific and precise frequency, and that by using resonant vibrations, the balance of matter can be restored. Now, I want to share with you this particular video before I end the talk. Right. Because this tells you about what bioresonance is, and that will lead into what Yiling has to say after this. Stop playing? No. Oh, masih start tadi? Why, ya? Stop share. Reshare. Sound. Green. Now can you see? All right.
Resonance is a proven biophysical method from the field of complementary medicine. Research into cell biology has recognized that cells communicate not only via chemical messengers, but also via electromagnetic frequencies. How does this electromagnetic cell communication work? Our cells send and receive electromagnetic frequencies. This means that cells communicate with one another. As a result, cell networks in every healthy organ have their own frequency patterns. As long as the body's cells are able to communicate with each other unhindered, the body's self-regulation remains intact. If the body is weak or overloaded, for example through allergens or pathogens, then cell communication is disrupted. The frequency patterns are now different in comparison to when healthy cells are communicating. In the long term, the body may respond to this disturbed cell communication with symptoms of illness. The body can no longer regulate itself, and the optimal cell communication needs to be restored. This is exactly where the Bicom bioresonance method intervenes. How does the Bicom bioresonance method function? The Bicom bioresonance method with the Bicom Optima combines diagnosis and therapy in one device. Step 1 is to test, quickly and painlessly, which energetic state the body is in. This distinguishes healthy and disturbed frequency patterns from one another. Stressful substances, for example allergens and pathogens, are identified and the individual weaknesses are found. Once the disturbed frequency patterns are detected, modified frequency patterns are returned to the patient as individual therapy. In this step, frequency patterns are commonly inverted. Communication within the cell network can return to normal, and stressful substances are eliminated from the body. Now communication within the cell network is in sync once again. And the good thing about it, with intact cell communication, the self-healing powers of the body can spring into action once again.
So basically, what happens is that that's the same principle that QQT is using. Okay, so it will detect what is wrong with you. Then it will go up to the clouds and it will find how the frequencies that is actually compatible with you. Come back down through the device and then stabilize you. Now, when it says that, when you're completely stabilized, what happens is that, the first thing that it does is when you're completely harmonized, you feel very relaxed. One thing. That's how I always fall asleep. The other thing I notice is that when I go home, okay, that night, I really get a really good sleep. Okay, really good sleep. And when I wake up, I'm very refreshed. Another thing is that my bowel motions are also quite good. Like if supposing you have got constipation or whatever, is quite good. And the thing is that you can feel the detox happening because you see when you look at your stools, your stools represent what's inside your body is coming out. Now this morning when after I had the QQT the day before yesterday, yesterday and today I noticed that the bowel motion, all the greenish stuff all come out. Oily greenish stuff all come out. Okay, that's how good QQT is. So I am so happy that you have actually purchased the device, and I'm sure that it will help a lot of patients on your side. But the one thing that I want to say here is that please remember that nothing works if your patients and yourself don't believe in it. The proprietor who bought the machine must believe it can work for his or her patient. The patient must believe she or him can get better using the device. If you have either one not believing, it will never work. We had that happening to somebody whereby the proprietor himself did not believe in the device. How can you help others when you yourself don't believe in it? Okay, so the thing is that believe that it can help. Okay, because that itself is also vibrations. It's your vibration of healing going to your patients. Okay.
Healing, may I ask to Professor Adlina? Professor,
Yeah.
what do you think about many device about bioresonance?
Mhm.
Why do you choose QQT?
Why do I use QQT? Yeah. Okay. Actually, I use Rayonex by Resonance first. Then after that, when QQT was introduced, I believe because QQT, the initial ones was actually is based on your spine. Okay.
Yeah.
They what they do is that they find why the spinal is misaligned. Then from there they find the frequencies that can heal you. Okay. That is why when you shoot it, you have to shoot it at the C1 level. So it goes down the whole spine, and then what Yili would normally do is she use the stethoscope looking like a doctor. She is one. All right. Then she will go and, okay, and feel the vibrations up to here. Up to your foot. But last time, the first time I used QQT, she only felt it up to where? Hip. Higher than the hip. Yeah. Yeah. You know why? At that time, I already had the metastasis to the bone. All right. So one of the things was that it was hitting it, but it was not hitting it enough to let through the healing waves to my foot. But now when she does it, it goes to my foot because I already went for the treatment and everything, and then now so I'm okay. Now you can hear the vibrations right up to the foot. Okay, that is why I believe it, and I also believe that it's very simple. Everything that runs in your body, it runs on nerves. Your heart, your organ, your liver, your whatever, even your gut, is all on nerves. If your spine, okay, is misaligned or blocked, that's it. Okay, so that's why you find a lot of people having problems because they don't go to the chiropractor and get themselves aligned. Okay, my chiropractor, I got a chiropractor, it's all the way up, okay, tajam. Every time you scold me, doctor, every 2-3 months you got to do it. So, but now got QQT. Every day I can go and see a healing. Okay, yeah. So, but it's quite expensive lah. Okay, but it's okay. All right, because I feel good and I feel so refreshed. Why not? I'm 65 years old. I'm going to be 65. But I've got the energy of a 35-year-old. Even my children will say, Ma, you are more energetic than me. I'm 30. I'm 26. But look at you, Ma. You're running all over the place. Okay? I can hop on. You say, doctor, I know, worry about you, how you go back. It's okay, healing. I will hop onto the train and then change the train and then go to the bus and then take the bus home. I still have energy after that to have class at 8 o'clock. It's beautiful. Okay, it's beautiful. If you can put everything in perspective together, QQT by resonance, with your food intake, with your healthy lifestyle, get yourself into the sunlight every day, you will have an almost perfect life. God willing. Okay, God willing. That's why I said, believe first. God willing, everything will be fine. Believe. Okay? All right. I'm sure you all are doing that. Okay? All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.